Life Transitions Coach. I am here for your June Lunch and Learn. The first Friday of every month, I come to you with a presentation of something to share to help you to navigate life's transitions. As a certified life transitions coach, that is my objective to share practical wisdom and instruction with you on a monthly, daily, weekly basis to help you to navigate transitions in your life. For the month of June, we are focusing on a book by Bruce Feiler. It's called Life is in the Transitions. I featured this book on my social media platform back in April. Every day, if you don't currently follow Coach Paula or PH Academy, on social platforms, Instagram and Facebook, I post a something every day related to reading. I believe that leaders are readers. And as one who's navigating life transitions, you are leading yourself. Before you can lead anyone else, you need to lead yourself. And so every day I publish a nugget from various books. And so I featured this book back in April. And I think it's a good time to talk about some of the components that are in this book. There were 10 items that I focused on and posted, but I'm only going to focus on 3 today for our lunch and learn. So that means you need to either go back and dig through my social media platforms, or perhaps you may consider being a member of or a student of the PH Academy, which is my online learning portal where I post and make available to all of my students and subscribers all of my social media posts in one centralized location for a nominal monthly fee. So if that's something you're interested in, we can chat about that, and I can certainly give you all the details. But let's dig into our lunch and learn this month. As I said, it's Life is in the Transitions, Mastering Change at Any Age, based on the book by Bruce Feiler. And so we have 3 key learning objectives today. This is based on the book. And as I indicated previously, I shared 10 principles from the book, but I'm only going to focus on 3 today. So give you a little bit to whet your appetite, and hopefully you'll be interested in learning a little bit more. So our 3 key principles that we are going to focus on are building resilience, community and connection, and mindset shifts. These 3 principles will be viewed within the lens of navigating transitions within life. So let's dig into here. The first is lesson 5 that I shared of the 10, which is building resilience. And so as part of our leaders or readers, based on the Harry Truman quote, resilience is a key theme that emphasizes the importance of developing the capacity to bounce back from setbacks. And this book, Life is in the Transitions, it offers practical advice on building resilience during times of transition. And so, yes, what is your bounce back like? A wise mentor once said, when you have a setback, you step back and you get ready for your comeback. And so that is important. We have to build resilience. So how do we do that? And what does that look like? And so within the framework, you have to realize that setbacks and difficulties and challenges, they're non-discriminating. So there's no discrimination. None of us are exempt from having difficulties and challenges. Not one of us. We all have them. And so that's a common theme for all of us. So we have to make sure that we focus and have attention about the resolution and not necessarily just the problem. Yes, we need to know what the problem is. We need to know what the circumstance is, but we don't want to put all of our focus and attention on the problem. We want to be solution oriented and focus on how we're going to build resilience, how we're going to navigate and master this change. If there's anything in life that is constant, it is change. And so the third component in building resilience is really questioning yourself and assessing, is what I'm doing, is what I'm thinking, is what I'm saying, is it helpful or harmful? Because at the end of the day, we don't want to do more damage to ourselves by doing things that are harmful. So when I'm thinking something as I'm navigating this change, is this something that's going to help me, or is this something that's going to harm me? When I want to say something, because sometimes, our mouth wants to say things, is this something that is going to be helpful and edifying? Or is this something that could really do more damage? And so, part of that resilience, being able to have a comeback, being able to navigate and be able to sustain and move forward, it's all about realizing that none of us are exempt. Where am I placing my focus and attention? And how am I evaluating what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and what I'm thinking? Is it helpful or is it harmful? So, the key tool here is reframe. We may see it one way, but how do we reposition that and reframe it to see it another way? That is a foundational component for us related to resilience. The second lesson is community and connection. This was lesson number 6 in what I posted of the 10. And so life transitions can be eased through the support of community and meaningful connections. Relationships provide strength and support during periods of transition and change. So, what does this look like? Community, common unity. And so, when there's community, you have a sense of belonging. There are 3 components to this: the community is important, the connection is important, and then I'm going to add a third one, which is communication. So, what does community look like? Having a sense of belonging, some people that you have a common unity with, you form a bond, right? And sometimes that can be the shared experience that you have. It can be relatives, it can be friends, it could come in a myriad of different ways. And so it's important that you build community. And you may have different pockets of communities. I know I have that. I have some sister friends, then I have some people that are iron sharpeners as far as business and entrepreneurship. And so you may have different pockets of communities. Don't just limit yourself to one. And don't just limit yourself to people that think, speak, and do what you do. Expand your network. That's going to help you as you're navigating the transitions, because you will learn from so many others that have diversity of life experience. So community is having a sense of belonging. Where do you fit in within this group? And don't feel that it has to be an uber comfortable fitting, because sometimes we want to be a little bit outside of our comfort zone. We want to stretch ourselves a little bit, but it still should be a community in which you feel that you belong. And once you're in that community, you want to build connections. So what does a connection look like? Connections is when you are seen and you are valued. Nobody wants to be somewhere where they're not seen, right? You want to be appreciated. You want to be respected where you are. And you want to feel that you truly are a part. And one of my life mantras that I have adapted from the John Maxwell training is that I am a person of value who values people, and I add value to them. So everywhere I go and everything I'm doing, I want to maintain my value, my self-worth, but I also want to respect you and value who you are and the contributions that you make. And then lastly, I want to help add value to your life. I don't want to just simply acknowledge your value. I'd like to expand your value if possible and make a deposit in you, hoping reciprocally you'll do the same for me. And so we have community, we have connection, being seen and valued. And lastly, we have communication, which is common language and free flowing exchange of ideas, right? There shouldn't be hesitancy. Oh, I'm afraid to say that, or what will they think if I say that? No, as we're navigating life transitions, let's be honest. I like to say, be hot, honest, open, and transparent. We have to be that. There has to be a community where we feel that connection and we feel that we can speak our honest feelings and emotions without judgment, but knowing that we'll find strength, knowing that we'll find suggestions from our squad, or from our board of directors, or whatever that looks like. This group of community where you can communicate and share your honest feelings. I'm not well today, but I'm navigating. How can you help me? And so it's important for us to be honest, to have that community where we have connection, and where we can honestly, openly, and transparently communicate. The third component is mindset shifts. This is important when we are navigating transitions. And so this discusses the significance of adapting a positive mindset and embracing change. Like I said, change is the only thing that's constant. And so we must embrace it with a sense of curiosity rather than fear. Like we're not going to focus on fear. We're going to focus and have the right mindset and the positive outlook to believe that we're going to learn something here. And so as we shift our perspective, that can influence the outcome of our life transitions. So what does this look like? We don't want to have a fixed mindset where it's like this and nothing else. We really want to have a growth mindset. Now, I know sometimes we hear that buzzword, a growth mindset. And so let's kind of step through some 5 key components of mindset shifts. We have shifts around our skills and our abilities, shifts around how we view challenges, shifts around our effort, shifts around feedback, and shifts around setbacks, which also ties back to the resilience we were speaking of. So let's compare and contrast a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset within these 5 parameters. So if we look at our skills, our natural abilities, and the things that we are able to do, there's 2 components. A fixed mindset is just limited to what I can do naturally. Okay, I have a gift to sing, or I have a natural gift and skill to write, or I might have the gift of gab. I was watching an interview earlier, and this one lady realized that, I am comedic in nature. And so she acknowledged that as her gift, and she honed on it, strengthened it, and she's a comedian today. But we have to realize that everything we get cannot just simply be what's naturally inherent, because if it's not natural, it has to be intentional. And so some skills we may need to be intentional about having. That's a growth mindset. I'm not limiting myself or fixing myself only on what I'm able to do, but I'm willing to expand and to grow myself, being a life learner and committing to intentional growth. Growth is never accidental. It is intentional. The second framework is related to challenges. How do we view challenges? Do we try to avoid them? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. That's too hard. I didn't think it was going to be this difficult, so I'm not going to do it. So do we avoid it, or do we embrace it? Even if we're scared. Yeah, I said scared. Even if we're afraid, do we still embrace it? It's a mindset. Are we going to say, no, I can't do it, or I'm afraid, or no, I'm not even willing to try? Or do we say, you know what, I'm going to give it my best opportunity, and I'm either going to succeed or I'm going to learn? We never fail. We never fail. I love acronyms. So what is fail? Your first attempt in learning. We never fail. We're constantly learning. We're constantly growing. And so a growth mindset embraces challenges. What about effort? Well, a fixed mindset just views effort as unnecessary. It'll come to me, Sarah, what will be, it'll happen. But a growth mindset says, my effort is essential. And I'm going to go hard. I'm going to go harder the next day. That's one of the things I love about the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you're not familiar with that, one of the key principles within that book, and I really am going to do an expository on that book. I think I might do like a whole workshop. I don't know yet, but I love that book. But one of the things and the key tenets in that book is increasing yourself just simply by 1% every day. So my goal today is to be 1% better than I was yesterday. And if we take that as essential as part of our growth mindset related to our effort, we are constantly growing. Imagine if we did that intentionally, and if we embraced that, what would that look like in our lives? And then feedback, that constructive feedback. Do we view it as, do we get defensive? Oh, I can't believe they said that about me. Oh, I didn't do that well. You don't do this, or do we immediately go on the defensive, which is a fixed mindset? Or do we say, hey, that could be useful, even if we don't agree with it, even in that moment? Because you have to remember, sometimes people can see our blind spots. You can't see what's behind you. So people can see things that you don't even see. And so it's important to view it, have trusted advisors. And even though sometimes the frenemies can give you some perspective on some things. So don't be closed in who you will listen to, but just take it in, process it. And if it's something you need to keep, keep. If you process it and realize, I can reject that, then do that. But don't ignore it. Don't become defensive about it, but view it from a growth mindset and view it as useful. And the last component are our setbacks. How do we view setbacks? Do we blame shift, blame somebody else? Or are we accountable? A growth mindset takes accountability for setbacks. It might not have been your fault, okay? But even within it, if it wasn't my fault, what could I have done differently? How could I have navigated that differently? What could I have done differently? What could I have said? Or how could I have approached it differently? Did I strategize well enough? Do you take the accountability when you have that setback? And the retreat, and then get ready for your comeback. Okay, next time we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And so these three components, as far as our mindset shifts, and how we're looking at things, these are so critical for us as we are navigating life transitions. So I hope that you've gotten something out of this. Like I said, there are 10 of these key tenets, and I've only hit on 3 of them. And so there's an opportunity to either go back through my social media and find those, or perhaps you may want to connect with Coach Paula. So I do have some resources available through my coaching programs, known through my business known as the Hollis Mastermind Group. You can connect with me through my VIP mailing list. You can scan the QR code that's on your left, or you can go to the website, which is bit.ly/connect with Coach Paula. Or you can actually book a discovery call, a free introductory call with me. You can scan that QR code on your right, or go to bit.ly/free intro call, and realize that those are case sensitive, those websites. And then you can book some time with me to talk about it. Navigating transitions is not an easy thing. We all are in a life transition, whether it's grief, which is definitely a life transition, whether it's our relationships. It could be entering into marriage. It could be in marriage. It could be entering out of marriage and going into divorce. It could be singleness, navigating that. I'm definitely navigating singleness now as a widow. As most of you know, my husband passed away. It'll be 3 years in November. And literally, this is the first time in my adult life that I've been an independent single person. I married my husband right out of undergrad college. And so I'm navigating this process of singlehood, and being an independent adult, but one with responsibilities. I have children, I have a daughter-in-law, I have a grandson. Most people, when they're entering into independent adulthood, they don't have these levels of responsibilities. So it's definitely a transition. You can be transitioning in your career, going into retirement. What does that look like? You could be transitioning in your parenting, becoming an empty nester, maybe a child moving back home after being out on their own. There's so many different transitions. And so as a certified life transitions coach, my desire and my hope is to give you practical tools to navigate those transitions with growth, purpose, and success. And so you can utilize, like I said, my VIP mailing list, where I do send out just tidbits of information about programs I'm offering and just some encouragement on generally a monthly basis, sometimes more often as I have some other things to say. Or like I said, you can book a discovery call. Certainly, if you're interested in being a student or a subscriber to PH Academy, which is the learning tool affiliated with the Hollis Mastermind Group, you can do that as well. And so we can connect. I can give you that information so that you can participate in that. And so lastly, listen, I value feedback. And so hopefully, like I said, as a person of value, I want to value you, but I also want to add value to you. And so one way of doing that is getting your feedback to know, hey, was there something helpful? What was your takeaway? Did you learn something? Did I not do a good job in explaining something and I left you unclear? Your feedback is essential to help me to grow. because I have a growth mindset and I want to constantly be growing and learning. And so my ask of you and your decision is to give me feedback. And so you can scan the QR code here, which will take you to a very brief survey to give feedback. It can be completely confidential, or you can provide your name either way. But I appreciate it. Be my iron sharpener and help me to grow. So you can scan that QR code. And then when you do that, you will enter the word talk, because it will prompt you for a code to take the survey. Enter the word talk, and then you can give your feedback. You can also go to the website if you don't want to scan the QR code, which is bit.ly/PHEVALFORM. So Paula Hollis eval form. That would be wonderful. I really appreciate if you would do that. And so lastly, like I said, we meet the first Friday of every month at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And so the next Lunch and Learn will be July the 5th at 12 noon. And our topic, since July is the month of independence, and we'll be coming right off of the heels of the holiday, our topic for July will be navigating life transitions with independence. What does that look like? And so, like I said, hopefully something I said has shifted your energy and has awakened your potential. This is Coach Paula sharing with you for the monthly Lunch and Learn. I appreciate your feedback as we continue to learn and grow together. Have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you soon.